The blade pointed down toward a stone offering basin balanced on a burner, just above a low circle of dancing white flames. The words, "Blood for a prayer," were carved into its side. Evangeline took a deep breath. This was what she'd come here for. She pressed her finger to the tip of the blade. Sharp marble pierced her skin, and drop after drop of blood fell, sizzling and hissing, filling the air with more metal and sweet. A part of her hoped this tithe might conjure up some sort of magical display, that the statue would come to life, or the Prince of Hearts' voice would fill the church. But nothing moved save for the flames on the wall of candles. She couldn't even hear the anguished young man in the back of the church. It was just her and the statue. "Dear Prince," she started haltingly. She'd never prayed to a fate, and she didn't want to get it wrong. "I'm here because my parents are dead." Evangeline cringed. That was not how she was supposed to start. "What I meant to say was, my parents have both passed away. I lost my mother a couple of years ago. Then I lost my father last season. Now, I'm about to lose the boy that I love. Luke Navarro." Her throat closed as she said the name and pictured his crooked smile. Maybe if he'd been plainer, or poorer, or crueler, none of this would have happened. "We've been seeing each other in secret. I was supposed to be in mourning for my father. Then, a little over 2 weeks ago, on the day that Luke and I were going to tell our families we were in love, my stepsister Marisol announced that she and Luke were getting married." But Evangeline had never even seen Luke in the same room as Marisol. "I know how this sounds, but Luke loves me. I believe he's been cursed. He hasn't spoken to me since the engagement was announced. He won't even see me. I don't know how she did it, but I'm certain this is all my stepmother's doing." Evangeline didn't actually have any proof that Agnes was a witch, and she'd cast a curse on Luke. But Evangeline was certain her stepmother had learned of Evangeline's relationship with Luke, and she'd wanted Luke, and the title he'd someday inherit, for her daughter instead. "Agnes has resented me ever since my father died. I've tried talking to Marisol about Luke. Unlike my stepmother, I don't think Marisol would ever intentionally hurt me. But every time I try to open my mouth, the words won't come out, as if they're also cursed, or I'm cursed. So I'm here, begging for your help. The wedding is today. I need you to stop it." Evangeline opened her eyes. The lifeless statue hadn't changed. She knew statues didn't generally move, yet she couldn't help but think that it should have done something. Shifted, or spoken, or moved its marble eyes. "Please, I know you understand heartbreak. Stop Luke from marrying Marisol. Save my heart from breaking again." Now that was a pathetic speech. 2 slow claps followed the indolent voice, which sounded just a few feet away. Evangeline spun around, all the blood draining from her face. She didn't expect to see him, the young man who'd been tearing his clothes in the back of the church. Although he sat on the dais steps, lazily leaning against one of the pillars with his long, lean legs stretched out before him. His hair was golden and messy. His 2 bright blue eyes were bloodshot, and his mouth twitched at the corner as if he didn't enjoy much. But he found pleasure in the brief bit of pain he'd just inflicted upon her. He looked bored and rich and cruel. "Would you like me to stand up and turn around so that you can take in the rest of me?" he taunted. The color instantly returned to Evangeline's cheeks. "We're in a church." "What does that have to do with anything?" In one elegant move, The young man reached into the inner pocket of his ripped burgundy coat, pulled out a pure white apple, and took one bite. Dark red juice dripped from the fruit to his long, pale fingers, and then onto the pristine marble steps. "Don't do that!" Evangeline hadn't meant to yell. Although she wasn't shy with strangers, she generally avoided quarreling with them. But she couldn't seem to help it with this crass young man. "You're being disrespectful, and you're praying to an immortal who kills every girl he kisses. You really think he deserves any reverence?" The awful young man punctuated his words with another wide bite of his apple. She tried to ignore him. She really did. But it was like some terrible magic had taken hold of her. Rather than marching off, Evangeline imagined the stranger taking her lips instead of his snack and kissing her with his fruit-sweet mouth until she died in his arms. No, it couldn't be. "You're staring again," he purred. Evangeline immediately looked away, turning back to the marble carving. Minutes ago, its lips alone had made her heart race. But now, it just seemed like an ordinary statue, lifeless compared to this vicious young man. "Personally, I think I'm far more handsome." Suddenly, the young man stood right beside her. Butterflies fluttered to life inside Evangeline's stomach, scared ones, all frantic wings and 2 fast beats, warning her to get out of there, to run, to flee. But she couldn't look away. This close, he was undeniably attractive, and taller than she'd realized. He gave her a real smile, revealing a pair of dimples that briefly made him look more angel than devil. But she imagined even angels would need to beware of him. She could picture him flashing those deceptive dimples as he tricked an angel into losing its wings just so he could play with the feathers. "It's you," she whispered. "You're the Prince of Hearts."